Hello there guys, welcome back to another video tutorial about developing a game using LibGDX. So in the previous tutorial what we have done is allowing ourselves to create text files that will define the waves of enemies that you or we are encountering, right? And we managed to create this simple wave using this text file by specifying the enemy type, the x, initial y, their speed, angle, and the time they appear or start activating, right, with the path itself being shown here, right? Now what are we gonna do is add something else, something extra. What basically we want to happen is that when an enemy goes beyond a certain point, the enemy should disappear. So let's say these enemies are going towards the point 0.1 minus 0.5. So if this point at the bottom of the screen, or let me show you this here. Come on. Okay, so this point over here, right, this is 0, this represents 1. So I told the game that these spaceships should go to minus 0.5. In other words, they are continuing up to a point over here. Since they passed your spaceship, we shouldn't process them anymore. So the game should remove these sprites and consider them non-existent, if that makes sense. For this very reason, we are going to create something that is simple, that will get rid of these sprites when they go beyond the last point. So if we go here, so let me see, we are looping over the stage enemies, right? And maybe I should add few comments here so that I could remember things better, or I could look at the code. It's not difficult. So here we are updating the time variables, okay, and here checking if a sprite needs to be enabled, right? So now here update user input, the player and enemies. Okay, now before that we will say remove enemies that who are beyond the display. So I will add something like this: for int I equals stage enemies dot count, dot size -1, and I is greater than 0 and I minus. You might be wondering why I am doing this loop in reverse order. Well, this is simple because when we are removing items from the list, their count will change and the counter I will skip indices, which will cause later on problems when we are removing from this list. Okay, so if you do it the other way, the reverse, you will get rid of all that thing. So now we are saying if stage enemies dot get me element I dot enabled, right? At that very point I will just ask the following simple question: if stage enemies dot get element I dot y, right, and y should be less than, I will say 0.1. okay, at that very point all I have to do is this stage enemies dot remove remove, and I pass it the index I, so the ith element will be, you know, removed from the list. Okay, so let us see what happens now. The last airplane goes down, then goes back up, but according to our change now, this thing should not happen anymore. So this is the wave. Okay, and nothing came back up. Not only that, if we put a breakpoint here, oops, let me stop this. Let me show you this using a breakpoint. Sorry. Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, press F9 so that continues. Remove the other one, F9 again. Okay, so let me go to this part here. These guys are going down, 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 down. There you go. They managed to go. And now I'm going to show you the number of enemies. I click here. Now the size is 1, so there is 1 enemy, right? So let me press F9. I wonder which enemy is that. Oh, I know why. Well, this one needs to be is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, very sorry about that. Anyway, so now I will debug this again. Okay, so this is the new window. Now those guys are the enemies. They are going down, 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 and okay, so now I will put a breakpoint, and you can see the size here of this list is 0. Very nice, right? So now not only we managed to get rid of the enemies, right? Now we can define a stage and get rid of the enemies as well. So this is an indicator that we could now move to the next stage. So we can now create multiple stage files and instruct the game that, well, we want to finish the stages one after another, if that makes sense. So first let us create 2 stages and see if the game can transfer us from one to another. If that makes sense to you. So let's go back here. Let's go back to assets. Now we have this stage. Let me see if I could copy the file and paste it again. Now this is going to be stage 002. There you go. Give it an OK. Now all I have to do, I'm going to make these appear in reverse order. Oh, I wrote stage 003. Okay, never mind that. We'll fix that later on. But anyway, this is going to be 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and also I'll right click and paste again. Now since we created the 1 and the 3, we will create 2 here. Okay, that's fine. So now let's go to stage 2, and I will give all the spaceships the same initial starting time. Okay, so let us save this. Now let us go to the game and see how we can instruct the game to load a stage after another. So as you can see that the way we are creating the game here is incremental. I didn't put a plan, but I'm doing things, you know, little by little. A better way is to put a plan, but my goal from this series is that you learn a little bit about, you know, how you could design a game, a simple game, and understand things. Okay, this is why I'm doing it like that. Anyway, so we will define a variable. Do we need these v and v2? No, we don't need them. Okay, so now this is not a test anymore. This is enemies enemies list, and also the stage counter. Okay, so here we have int stage, and this is equals 0. That's wonderful. So let me go back to this one. Yeah. So stage enemies equals what? A new array list of sprite. Okay. So I won't enable this at all. I will leave it like that. Okay. Now, what am I gonna do here is something simple. I will just add the code this, check if a new stage need to be loaded. So here if stage enemies dot size equals 0. Now at that very point I will just increase the stage variable. So I would say stage plus plus, then I will load the stage file. So stage enemies equals stage management dot load stage. Okay, so now I will pass the file name, right? So in this case it is called stage, and this is not only an integer, there is a preceding number of zeros. So I would say just plus integer dot toString. I will pass stage followed by I might need to see if there is a formatting technique, right? You know what, I'll do it. Yeah, the preceding zeros is causing me a simple problem now, but anyway, don't worry about it. So I'll just say this string 000 plus stage dot toString integer toString, and I pass it the stage variable. Okay, so now this part over here is being evaluated to a string. So I want to get right. Okay, I'll make it a substring. Come on, string stage str equals, it's this one, maybe yeah, sorry for complicating this a little bit, but you know, because I chose a format for the stage file name, I could make it stage 1 2, but I want it to be 001 002 and so on. Okay, anyway, so stage str equals stage str dot substring. This is going to be stage str dot length -2. Right, and finally I will add stage str space string. Okay, so I'll just put this one here as a breakpoint, just make sure it works fine. So let me debug this. Okay, so here we have the stage variable 0, so it is going to be 1 now, right? So I convert that and I get what? I get 0 0 0. There's an extra 0 there, 1, and I will call this function. So what do we have? What do we get? We get 0 1. Oh, so this is gonna be stage -3. My mistake. I think now it's gonna work. So stop it. Okay, so let's run this. So the first time this is gonna run, it will find the list equal to 0, so it will load the stage 001. And obviously I did something wrong. Oh, I forgot the .txt, so add plus .txt. My mistake, sorry again. So let's run this. Okay, so this is gonna be the first wave. Let's have a look. So this is the first wave. So it just went away. Now the second wave should all be activated at the same time. This is the second wave. This is the second file. Next, the third wave have a different, oh, I see. Okay, and the fourth wave is having a problem. So let me see. Maybe I didn't. Oh, seems like I did a mistake there. Let me have a look again. So stage 1 is working fine. Stage 2, they all have the same timer. Stage 3, they have the reverse timer, which means they should appear in different. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look here now again. As for the error that's happening here, is that I kept loading stages. So after stage 3 or wave 3, the game wanted to load wave number 4, but it couldn't find the file, so an error was triggered. This is why. So this is stage 2. Let's see stage 3. That's weird. That is very weird because they are all that is very weird. Okay, let me go here and see what is going on, if that makes sense. So let me debug this. Probably there is a very stupid error here. So now this is the first stage, so it's file stage 1. So I press F9. This one we have no problem with. Let me close one of these and keep the other. Okay, so the first stage is finished. Let's go to the second stage. Right? So this second stage, this is stage 2. Right? So here we press F9. That's fine. Now we are getting to the third stage. Okay, so here I'm gonna press F7 to see what is going on. So here we are loading things. Okay, speed time is 1.8. So let's see what's going on here. So we have this one, enemy, speed, angle. Okay, the variable time, well, I'm seeing, watching the time here. It's better if I watch the time over here. Okay, now the time is 1.8. This is accurate, this is fine. So here, let's go now, F9. So we are getting these guys and enable time 0. Now it's 1.8. That's fine, that's accurate. And the path is there as well. Well, this is fine. So let me go back here and put a breakpoint and see all the sprites at once instead of waiting for them one by one. So now we have 9 enemies. So let's see each one. What do we have? So the first one, its enabled time is 1.8. This 1.8. The second one, its enabled time is 1.7, which is also accurate. 1.6, which is also accurate, and so on. Oh, okay. I know now why this is happening. Well, another stupid mistake. What I need to do here now, after I load a stage, I need to reset the timer of the game, because I set the time in such a way that it is absolute for each stage. For each stage, the timer starts from the beginning of that very stage. However, in this code, if we check here in the game, where's the part where we enable a? Yes, here we are enabling things, right? So the stage timer, I didn't reset it. So what happens that, let's say the first stage finishes after 50 seconds. So the second stage would assume that 50 seconds, as soon as you load it, it will assume that 50 seconds already passed. So you'll find all the sprites need to be enabled right away. So all I have to do is just update the stage timer. Okay, so where is the part where we load things? I need to say the following: just stage timer equals 0. That's it. And now if I run the game, I assume the enabling will be accurate now. So this is the first wave. Okay, now the second wave. And now the third wave. And you can see it is working fine. Okay, so problem solved. Now one last thing here I have is that this one, instead of using the value 0.1, sorry, is smaller than not 0.1, it should be smaller than minus 0.1. I'm very sorry. Yeah, so now let's have a look. The problem is that you saw that sprites are disappearing right away after they reach this point. I want them to disappear later, not here, but you can see now how still the problem that's still there. So if stage.enemy.get, okay, minus 0.3 or something, I remove it. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, so now this is finished. So this is stage 2. Okay, and the next stage here, and so on. So now you have multiple stages, and you know, that's awesome. So now we can define as many stages as we want to create these files, and the game would move us from one stage to another. Now one last thing that we need to do is that we don't want the game to crash. We just want to make sure is that if the game manages to reach stage number 4, it should do nothing. So I would just add this one, and stage doesn't equal 4. So if as long as you are not at stage 4, the game should not crash at all. Later on we are going to modify that and say if you reach the final stage, so show ending credit and things like that, but this is still too early. So if we run this now, and the first stage, that's fine. The second stage, oh sorry, just something I just remembered. The reason we are having a problem with this one, I was using these as absolute values, so I'm gonna make this minus 30 because I assume that these are normalized value. I forgot. The y here is absolute value, represent actual coordinates, not normalized coordinates. By normalized I mean between 0 and 1. Okay, so here I need to just make sure that this is accurate. So let me run this again. Sorry. Okay, so check out the way that these spaceships are going to disappear. So they are fully going out of screen, because previously I was saying that if the spaceship is at this point here, it should disappear right away. I used minus 0 point something, which means minus 0 point something pixels. But I was meaning in my brain, I was thinking that this is absolute value. Anyway, so it seems that there's still a problem there. So let me see. Oh, I think the logic here is a little bit wrong. So if the stage is smaller than or equal to 2, right? Actually, if it's smaller than 3, it's gonna go to 3. Yeah, let me run this again. And so there's the last wave. Wait for that. Wait for the last wave now. Okay, and you can see now the game is still going on. So we fixed the problem, and the game is not does not crash anymore. Okay, so this is all nice and good. So you might be wondering, okay, since we did that, what's next? Well, basically we have right now two major problems. The first major problem is, well, when enemies collide with your spaceship, you don't, your spaceship does not get destroyed, and also you don't have lasers. So hopefully we will work on that later on. So we need to work on collision detection. So I will leave this for the next video tutorial. That will be all for today. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.